this left-hand one was your before, and we're going to draw this line just as a reminder for yourself. Obviously, club going up through the green line going through the shoulder there. Okay, takeaway wasn't too bad. Took the golf club away nicely. If we're being honest, a little bit kind of outside and lifty. Okay, at this point here now, ideally the hand and the club should be a little bit more kind of down this way rather than out there. It's a bit kind of lifted up, as we said, and that I think is almost somebody. If you're gripping tight, your muscles now are using more energy to actually work. It almost looks like the club's heavy, and we're trying to lift that club in the air rather than just allow it to kind of go back a little bit more in its natural arc kind of. Yeah, the hand I think at this point now could be a little bit low as the club sort of works back this way. Yeah, if the club goes up on the way back, your hands will get a lot higher in the takeaway there. So I'll show you that on the mat in a second, but just to sort of input that as a thing on the vid there. And then top of the backswing now, again, good movement on the way back. What we had there now as you came down, the club now as you see going outside that green line, you're coming across the golf ball, hitting the ball from this direction, and then the club now swinging through very sort of stiff and a bit rigid, losing power, and the ball goes off to the right. Now this on the right hand side, I'm just going to play this in full speed on the right hand side one. Okay, just watch the right hand swing there now. Okay, that's not you hitting it very hard at all, is it? And that was about 123 yards. And the good thing is, if we look at the way back, as you hinge your wrist here now, so you're setting some power here now with the wrist hinge, and your right elbow's nice and soft. Top of the backswing there's fine. Again, not a full backswing by any stretch of your imagination, okay, as you can see. As you come back to the golf, whatever you're now hinging, boom, straightens up. There's this sort of swishing here at the bottom we're trying to encourage, and that release as you go through, you can see elbows nice and down, L shape on the way through, and then through to follow through. So that maximised efficiency of club speed created a much better movement down here, much more distance in that direction, and a much more freer swing with less energy being exuded by yourself. Just a better movement overall. So if we can get that sort of hinge on the way back, which you do anyway, and then release that club speed hinge better on the way through, a really good draw to practice. Go on here. Yeah.
That takeaway is down.
Oh, the takeaway. Oh, yeah. So exactly. So when you're here now, yeah, look at your hands. That's just taking that doesn't look as though the club's sort of heavy. That club's swinging more around your body, whereas this one now, as you go back, the hands kind of go up quite quickly. There, they're sort of rising above your hips. There. I mean, that club gets kind of level there. That's almost above your belt buckle, whereas here.
So I don't need to be here.
Yeah, your hands need to be a bit more.
Before I go up.
Exactly. If you look at both of those clubs there, they're probably kind of pointing back towards the camera, okay? And your hands in the club are kind of level with almost your chest, where there's your chest there and there's your chest. So I think it's a bit sort of just lifted and a bit shrugged up, which I think generally is a sign you're squeezing on for dear life. If you grip that club tight, these are going to get tight. And when the muscles are tight, it's hard to go back with that much sort of shrugging up. And that sort of lifting, as we said, it's going to be a certain power reducer, okay? So once you go to the top of the backswing, but a good draw, as I said, if you grip hold the golf club, so a little bit of grip is coming at the bottom there now, you hinge to this point, you'll see the butt end of the club sticking at the bottom. As you release through, you'll see the butt end of the club at the bottom. If you can't, you kind of pulled it through, you'll see then whether or not you can see the butt end of the club when you do it. So it's a sort of good hinge, and that's to do this, you have to be loose. Now, if you can do, again, you can do this at home on your welcome mat or a bit of grass or a bit on the floor, just strike the ground when you're doing that. So just feel the club head hitting the ground back and through, getting that hinge of the club better on the way back. Okay, but I think the looseness is something to get used to. It will feel very strange. I think this time of year now, inherently we grip it tight because we're just bloody cold. And again, if you walk on the golf course first tee, so you rush the first tee, 5 minutes before your tee time, you're cold and warmed up. Chances are first one day is going to be a little bit down to what it should be, and then you can't react into every single miss-hit shot. So the game of golf is going to be, you're on the back foot to start with.
All over the place.
Yeah, you're 20 points down in the first 10 minutes trying to make a comeback and haven't warmed up. So give yourself a chance to sort of build up into a round if you can. Just a few swings if needs be on here or whatever it may be, but getting that sort of softening in the hinge of this. So if you swing the golf club back here now, we'll sort of show you here. So if when you grip it tight, we get kind of this shrugging and lifting. If we're nice and loose, your hands are down here nice and low. They're not kind of up here, you see. Just a bit lower with that takeaway. Does that make sense then, John? Yeah?
Yes.
Good.